This episode of Nicknames Movies is brought to you by
the best meatball sub I ever had, and I'll never get to have it again because of fucking CC's.
Hold on.
Fuck you, CC's.
You were supposed to cut me off.
I don't know what you're doing.
You're supposed to cut me off.
I don't know what the plan is.
I don't either. This is great that this is the last one. Fuck this podcast.
Brought to you by Future Plans.
It's too late. No.
You could just go back to the first run and then splice it together.
I'm gonna mangle it like a Frankenstein. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nicknames Movies, episode number 20 for the week of. Oh, okay. Woo woo! For the week of September 15th, 2019. Each and every week, we bring you all the cinema love and keep you informed about what's going on in Hollywood. I am your host, Nick Naming Movies, and alongside me is my co-host, Zach. How's it going, Zach?
Well, it's all right.
It's all right. Like every week. It's all right.
How are you, Nick?
I'm okay. You know, it's still hot. We're still in one of those hotter.
Still in that Texas summer heat.
It's lovely. It's lovely. If you need a tan and, you know,
want to go past a tan to dead on the pavement.
God,
it's a good way to start.
Drink water. Use sunscreen.
Yes, hydrate.
Yeah.
Maybe drink some Gatorade.
Gatorade? I don't know. I think that's counterintuitive.
Well, water's better for you. Water will always be better for you.
Yeah, because Gatorade has like all the electrolytes.
It has electrolytes. It's the thing that plants crave, Nick.
It also has a whole bunch of sodium if you actually read the label. But you know what also has a whole bunch of sodium? Nicknames Movies, the podcast where we talk about what we've been watching and give you our thoughts. Want to be a part of the cast? You can head on over to patreon.com/nicknamesmovies where you can donate as low as $1 and get the episodes a day early. If you don't want to donate, hold on. I'm so parched because it's so hot outside.
Yeah.
If you don't want to donate, no big deal. Remember, every episode will be live every Sunday on YouTube or your favorite podcast service of choice, like Spotify or iTunes. You can also head on over to tpublic.com/user/nicknamesmovies to find our merch and help represent your favorite new podcast. But now, let's dive into the previews. Zach, what have you been watching?
Well, I really haven't been watching much.
Oh, okay.
I watched some things for our topic.
Yes.
That I'll get into later. But really, I basically didn't have a whole lot of time to watch just kind of things here and there.
Yeah.
So basically, my entire week was comprised of laying in bed if I was watching something and watching the British Bake Show. You're great.
Well, I can't laugh. I can't laugh because I've been watching just a shit ton of Friends and a whole bunch of Terrace House.
Yeah, you were going off on your you've caught up to me. I'm pretty sure you're past now.
Yeah, I think I stopped about an episode after when we last texted, because I was like, oh man, I've burned out. I should probably watch something else, and then turned on Friends, and then never turned it off. And then watched a movie here and there. I watched The Dead Don't Die by Jim Jarmusch. Which, if you've ever watched any of his stuff, it's like, am I reading a book or am I watching a movie?
Say I have. What other stuff?
Dead Man, I guess, with Johnny Depp. Only Lovers Left Alive. Trying to think. Patterson.
Robert Patterson.
No, just Patterson is the name of the movie.
Batman.
With Adam Driver.
Oh, I thought it was Robert Pattinson.
No.
Adam Driver is portraying Robert Pattinson.
No, it's not about Robert Patterson because it's Pattinson is what you're thinking of. You're totally messing up his last name. And how dare you? He's Batman.
Wouldn't be a Nicknames Movies if Zach didn't mess up a name. So.
I mean, that's very true. It's very true. I mess it up all the time too. It's totally okay. What else? Just that. Just
basically that. And any other very brief spare time I had was spent progressing through
living life
and Resident Evil 2.
Oh, nice. A lot of video game time.
Not really. No.
Oh,
it's just like that's how minimal amount of time I had. It was
That's
like
okay.
if I was watching something, it was I'm going to bed and I'm going to
Yeah.
watch this episode of the hour-long British baking show with my wife,
Yeah.
or I'm going to stay up an extra hour past when I should be in bed, going through the sewers in Resident Evil.
So you're just kind of like, it's little spurts of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
10-minute.
But now I have a week-long vacation ahead of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This upcoming week?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, I'm on vacation now.
Nice. We really should have coordinated our vacation days because I literally just used up 2 of mine.
Oh, no.
I literally had a 4-day weekend this weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and it was just a lot of TV watching and not being outside.
Nice. Yeah, so far we've had cupcakes.
Oh, well, fuck me. Thanks for
We've
inviting.
had bagels. We've had...
Is this at work?
No. This
just
is
at home?
Yeah, this is part of a vacation. This is
Oh, you're
let's
planning.
eat a bunch of shit food.
Yeah.
Part of the vacation.
Okay.
Bagels, cupcakes. We had some like dessert pancakes for breakfast the other day.
What's the difference between regular pancakes and dessert pancakes?
Oh, that's a good question too.
It's
like,
a whole bunch of sugar.
Is a pancake? If you just make a normal pancake,
It's got cake in the name.
is that a cake?
Yes. It's a type of cake.
But then
Say all the same materials.
by like extrapolating that, could you feasibly say cake is a breakfast food?
No. It's
Why not?
no.
It's cake.
It's a square rectangle type situation when it comes to geometry definitions.
Okay, well, what about a waffle then?
Oh, waffles just it's like toast. It's like
I feel like
it's the redheaded stepchild of the pancake.
I feel like you are stuck in your ways, sir, and you do not want to think about the intricacies of breakfast food and what it would mean if you had to admit to yourself that if you thought that pancake was a cake, that would mean that cake is a breakfast food.
What would you call cupcake a cake?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just
a little
tiny
cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about a muffin?
Muffin's a dry cupcake.
So it's a dry cake.
It's more bread than cake.
How though?
It's just because.
How though? How though? How though? Let's. I mean, we could talk about this all day.
Talk to me about Terrace House.
A terrace house.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too much into
No.
it because I know you, me, and your wife are the only people who are watching it that I know of.
That's not true.
Really?
They just dropped a new season
They
on
did
Netflix.
drop a new season, and I'm going to start watching that as soon as I finish Boys and Girls in the City.
You got to get through Boys and Girls, Aloha State.
I don't have to know. I don't have to do
you need the
chronological
context.
order. No, I don't need the context because it's like Big Brother. It's season by season. It's
You're
different casts
Big
and all that
Brother.
stuff. Yeah, and I'm at the point now where I'm kind of like skipping the intro part.
recap. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that part's rough when you're watching episode after episode.
Yeah.
Because, like, I just saw this. And it's, like, almost 10 minutes out of the 20-minute runtime.
But here's the thing: they'll do the recap, and then they'll have
Intersperse with the hosts.
yeah, and then
it's
they'll
like
do
all that stuff's new.
Then they'll do an intro, and then they'll do the intro theme song,
Yeah.
and then they'll do the new stuff. So it's kind of like you gotta pay attention to what's going on when you're
Bastards.
fast forwarding.
Like,
But it's only a 30-minute show.
Yeah,
so
but when you're watching 10 episodes in a row, and that
Don't do that.
That 28 minutes, like half of each runtime is like old stuff.
is actually what the stuff that you're
Yeah.
interested in. Yeah, I still like listening to the panel.
No, they're super funny. It's
Yeah.
just a little aggravating, you know.
Yeah.
It's like fuck.
because it goes on for a little bit long.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that. There's Friends. At this point, I don't think Ross and Rachel are ever going to get together. I'm on halfway through season 7, and I'm glad for Chandler and Monica. But as for right now,
You feel like Chandler's appreciated as
no.
much
I
as
think
he-
I think out of the entire cast, Phoebe not included, because I'm saluting Phoebe because she's there. So Phoebe is the best because she's the most likable. And imagine the entire cast of Friends, like you meet them season 5.
Okay,
and
I'm
they're
in
super
Central
famous.
Perk, and they're all around me.
Yes,
Uh,
you're just getting
Am I getting paid for this appearance?
Yes, you are
Oh,
the Bruce
fuck
Willis.
Oh yeah.
Who
I'm
is the
just a
best guest star
love
so far?
machine. I'm just a love
Yeah.
machine.
Didn't he win like? I know one guest star won an Emmy for like their appearance on Friends.
I
or
thought it
something.
was
Paul Rudd.
No. Chandler's dad. Who plays Chandler's dad?
I don't know. I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
I'll get there.
Wait, so
But if let's say you meet the whole cast, so Phoebe's the best. She's the most likable and relatable, right? Then there's Chandler, who you can kind of talk to, but he's going to be sarcastic 99% of the time.
he's always got a joke.
He's always got a joke. But you know what? Life is a little depressing right now. So let's get a couple more jokes in there, even if they're sarcastic. Then there's Joey, who's the dumb idiot, but he's funny. He's fun to hang out with. Plus, the ladies, how you doing? And then it's
It's
Rachel.
the bottom barrel.
Yeah, it's the bottom three, right? Then there's Rachel, who's okay,
Yeah.
but she's like, even in season 7, she's kind of like, oh,
Right.
I'm kind of better, and dating the receptionist, dating her
Tag.
assistant,
Yeah.
Tag, yeah. He's handsome. He's a hunk.
He's a hunk.
So then there's Rachel. All right, and now we've got Monica and Ross, the Gellers, the two least likable characters.
Yep. And it makes me wonder about the parenting styles of.
Here's the thing. I think Jack
parents.
is great. I think Jack is an amazing guy to know, as long as he's not your father.
Yes.
Because he's a funny guy, especially when they're having dinner and Monica and Chandler announce that they're getting married and they didn't even know they were dating and all that stuff. That was a great episode. So Monica and Ross. So which of you do you think is the worst friend?
Worst friend?
Yes.
Probably Monica.
Nope. You'd be absolutely wrong.
I think Ross is a shittier person in general.
Okay. That's what I was going off
when
of.
you look at his relationship habits and just how he kind of purports himself in general.
Yeah.
But as a friend, he's generally okay to Joey and Chandler.
As opposed to Monica. Who's just kinda anally retentive.
Monica, while she has multiple instances in the show where she makes it very clear that she would drop all of them for one reason or another, whether that be money or fame, whatever.
Oh, I guess, yeah, with the what if scenario and everything. Yeah.
So your tier list,
Yeah.
your greatest tier list for the friends is Phoebe, Chandler, Joey, Rachel,
Monica Ross. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be like if I wanted, like, the top of the list being the person I would want to get to know the most and be friends with, and then all the way down to the person I want to avoid the most, which would be Ross. Have you watched the clips of they're like clips of Ross, but without any laugh track or whatever, and how creepy all of the things that because granted we're in a different time period, 2019, a lot of things have changed, but and we've talked about this in a previous episode, a lot of the misogyny and the homophobia and everything that they say, it's just like, ugh.
But I mean, Monica is much the same way, and where if Chandler
That's
ever
why she's
shows,
fun too,
if Chandler ever shows any sort of non-traditional masculine traits, even his own fiance, spoiler alert, later wife, makes fun of him.
Yeah,
for
they're engaged.
Yeah, well,
I'm at that point.
I know.
Yeah. They'll get
Ross
there.
was engaged before too.
Yeah, but he's been divorced 3 times. I just don't know if he'll end up with Rachel. But this has been the Friends cast.
Yes. My tier list, real quick. My tier list.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Will be. I interchange Joey and Chandler.
Okay.
Fairly regularly, because one, I torture Casey with my constant humor anyway. So I feel like Chandler and I, we see eye to eye on many things in terms of overstepping our humor boundaries.
I could definitely get that.
Joey, I don't really ever recall. There's maybe one time in the show where I'm like, that's kind of not cool for him to do that. But pretty much throughout the entire show, he's the best friend.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah.
He almost makes no mistakes. He's just dumb.
Well, yeah, he makes more mistakes for himself than he does for other people.
But he's a sweet guy to have around.
Yeah,
right?
he's a lovable idiot.
He's always going to have your back.
Yeah.
So those are those two.
Okay.
I probably
You're gonna put Rachel over Phoebe.
I'd probably tuck Rachel in over Phoebe.
What the hell,
because
man?
Phoebe has a very nasty habit of letting secrets slip whenever she shouldn't.
Okay, but that's not. You could say that about a lot of people, though.
Not on that show.
Like everyone keeps a secret and
Pretty
everything?
much, yeah. If like anything ever comes
I'm
out,
not mad, but
if anything ever comes out, it's usually because of Phoebe, and she's pretty judgmental, actually.
here's the thing. I actually find her attitude refreshing, and maybe it's because it's only one person as opposed to the other 5 people, and maybe because I've watched It's Always Sunny from beginning to all the way up to now.
Right, yeah.
And so, like, you kind of half expect the asshole behavior to be somewhat balanced with the good behavior, but because there's 1 out of 6, only being the only person with a quote-unquote conscience.
Yeah.
And being like, whatever. You know, just that casual, laissez-faire.
But then she'll like
Don't
judge.
care.
She'll judge you on your choices, but then
Everyone
fold
does.
back on that exact same thing.
But yeah,
It's
everyone
like,
else
oh,
judges
yeah,
everyone
I'm
else.
against fur and animal cruelty. Now I'm gonna wear this fur coat because
Yeah.
it makes me look good. Oh, I'm against
For 1 episode.
I'm against fucking what was the show the store, the furniture store.
Crate and Barrel.
No,
No,
not that
no,
one.
no, hold on.
This is the magazine.
Yeah. It's not Crate and Barrel. It's
Pottery Barn.
Pottery Barn. Yeah.
I'm against Pottery Barn. It's so unoriginal. Da, da,
Yeah.
da. But then when she figures out, oh, I have no basis for this, and all this stuff looks good.
Yeah.
I wanna get the stuff from Potty Barn.
But people are like that. That's not really indicative
but-
of an asshole type attitude.
I think. Well, I would argue against that
oh, okay.
because I think you're perfectly fine with having like those kind of like intricacies.
Yes.
As a person, you know, we are free to reevaluate our standings in life, right?
Right.
However, if you continuously do that, I don't want you coming into my face and being like, what you're doing is wrong. The way you're leading life is wrong. Fuck you, Phoebe. Now, I'm going to toss Phoebe near the bottom. Just
What the fuck?
yeah.
You're doing it on
get in
purpose
there.
now.
Get in there, Phoebe.
Just because she has malleable scruples doesn't mean that, she's not.
Ross and Monica are shitholes, but at least they're consistent shitholes.
I think she's kind of more just the. I think you just don't like people who are just kind of like, whatever.
I don't like judgy people.
She's not that judgy.
She's super judgy.
I mean, so is everyone else, though. Like, there's the whole back and forth between Chandler, Ross, and Monica where they're outing secrets about each other, and they're like, oh, you kissed a guy.
Yeah,
That
but
kind of
that
thing.
stems from Monica trying to get one up on Chandler.
But it's,
And then
it's also
not,
it's a triangle.
That's
of-
not so much of judging as like, you revealed my secret, now I'm going to reveal yours. You know?
It's like a Mexican standoff of lies.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah. This is the friend cast.
This is the friend cast. Let's see. What else have I watched?
The Wall by Pink Floyd.
In the wall.
Good.
It's been a while since I've heard that song.
You're like, The Wall.
The wall. We're Pink Floyd.
I mean,
And we're singing The Wall.
That's pretty close. I mean,
Yeah.
can't fault you there.
Pink Floyd is okay in small doses. I can't listen to like a whole album of theirs. There's a lot of good music from older bands coming out, like bands that haven't really released anything good in a while, like now releasing music that, in my opinion, is actually pretty decent. There's
Your musical options are.
there's a concert happening next year. I think it's
Hella.
hella dope. Or something.
Weezer, Green Day,
and Fall Out Boy.
Oh yeah,
Which is basically like
it's like war.
8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade of our lives, was like high school. So, I mean, it would just be kind of cool and nostalgic too.
Yeah.
So,
Depends on where the venue is. It's in Arlington, but I don't remember what the stadium
I
is.
thought there was one in Dallas too.
I think no, it's Houston and Arlington, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Arlington's not that far.
As long as it's not in fucking Pizza Hut Park, I don't care.
Pizza.
I fucking hate that venue.
I've driven by there and it's
You're
just
seriously
garbage.
gonna make a fucking stadium with no overhead shade in fucking Texas and have back-to-back concerts in July.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Whoever did that was fucking high.
You should have brought an umbrella.
Well, they make you, and then the reason
No umbrellas.
the reason they do it is because you can pay the extra fee to go into the fancy box and have AC. And like, fuck you, never going.
Bring
back
an
to-
umbrella and one of those fans that you squirt water at yourself for. Fill it with alcohol.
Bring a flamethrower and shoot it up into the sky. I won't burn anyone. I want my
out of anger.
I want
Make it hotter. Yeah,
I want my
great.
aggression to be known, even if it defeats the purpose of my stand.
Why can't you just yell at the box office person like everyone else?
They
Why do you have to
don't
bring
care.
a
No,
flamethrower?
they're gonna notice the
sky.
flamethrower. All right. And again, I'm not gonna burn anyone because I don't want to kill people.
Right.
I just like
Of
I
course.
want to get some like, hey.
Well, then do it at home.
I'll make some like clown faces or something.
Do it at home.
Oh, I'll be like that Mad Max guy.
The guitarist,
guitarist,
flaming,
yeah, except without the gimp suit.
Yeah.
Or maybe with
you
it.
could
I
do
don't
it
know.
with the gimp suit. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
Let's get into the main topic. For those who haven't listened to the last couple of episodes, this is going to be the final Nicknames movies. However, that doesn't mean we're just going to stop podcasting and go on and do nothing, watch more sitcoms like Friends and stuff. We are actually reformatting and just kind of adjusting, basically. I want to say the main reason is because Casey's mad that it's called Nicknames Movies. To be fair, that's a totally valid reason. It was just the first one that came to mind. And we're just kind of reformatting it. We're doing some cool things, and we'll actually, depending on how long this podcast will be, we might do cool little... I don't know where I'm going with this.
I think you were thinking of like maybe throwing together a compilation.
Yes.
Of like moments and stuff.
Yes.
And depending on how long we go for this episode, that may or may not be with this or on its own. But I think that was the idea. And I think with the Switch, I think have a feeling for how we want to go about it now. So we're just kind of like streamlining that process a little bit.
So where I'm going with this is basically the theme of this week's episode was the future.
Ooh.
And I'm pretty sure we took it literally and like movies set in the future.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
And not about like people contemplating life's choices in
that could be in
their lives.
The prior.
And I did no homework. I watched. There was one movie that I had. Don't
shame on you.
Scrape your finger with your other finger at me. I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, like
finger touching.
Tutting.
The tutting.
Tut.
Yeah, biting. Don't bite your thumb at me. There we go.
Bite my thumb at you, sir.
We'll go old school. Basically, we kind of wanted to focus on movies, set in the future. You know what movie isn't going to be set in the future here in a little bit? Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Because the first Blade Runner 1982...
That was actually part of our pilot episode.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
2019 movies. Now look where we are.
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049. Yeah.
We're not there yet.
No, I was saying like that was the movie we were mentioning, right? It's been a long time.
No,
it was back in April.
2019, the original Blade Runner was in 2019, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right. Movies set in 2019.
Yeah, that was the topic for our pilot episode.
It was either the pilot or the second episode.
Pretty sure it was the pilot.
You have a better memory than I do.
Or maybe the pilot was Avengers.
I think that was.
I don't know.
We could. There's totally a way that we can look this up.
It's 20 episodes. Yeah. Like it just goes out the window.
If you haven't listened to this podcast at all, know that you're always in for a treat. You never know what you're going to get, especially when it comes to our cursory knowledge of movies. But we never claimed to be experts, did we? Have we ever? Never. Okay, so yeah, we don't have any prior knowledge.
I don't think so.
Oh, I went to film school for 6 years. Ooh, listen to me.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's. I thought that's what we sound like. So the future. What movies did you watch that are set in the future?
So I watched 2 movies.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh sweet Lord.
Oh, all right. Don't get that antsy.
Oh.
Yeah.
What movies did you watch?
This is like the worst ASMR session you could possibly have. Stop it. So the first one I watched was Looper.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Directed by
Rian Johnson. Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
It looks like
I
Rian.
fucking hate
Rian. It's his fault.
Yeah.
It's his parents' fault.
How dare they? I always want to say Rian.
Rian.
Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Looper.
Oh, okay. With my main man, Bruce Willis.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, yeah, sure.
For those who aren't aware, the premise is Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays...
Can you say his name again?
No.
Please say his name again.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
There you go. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Look, words just come out.
Yeah.
In like a streaming fashion.
Oh, like our podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Yes.
plays this guy who works for a company that 30 years from the time they are in now invents time travel.
Yes.
Or I don't know if they invent it, but it's time travel is so expensive that the only people who can afford it are either the insanely rich or the mob.
Yeah.
Essentially. And so 30 years in the future, whenever the mob wants to like erase someone, or like kill someone,
Yeah.
they send them into the past, and then employees in the past kill whoever they send back. And they have like a meeting place that they need to go to, and it's at a set time, and they're called loopers.
Yeah. Because they closed the loop of people.
Well, they don't just closing the loop is something different.
Oh, no,
Like
you're
they,
right. You're
they
right.
still
you're right.
do hits, but closing the loop is when in the future a looper is sent back in time.
Yeah. Right.
And then they end up killing
Themselves. Because they appear with a hood on.
Right,
and everything.
right. So they don't know who they're killing.
Yeah.
And they get a nice payday from it and, all this other stuff. Well, Bruce Willis plays Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the future.
It's such weird casting.
It is a little weird, yeah. But they're both great in this, so like I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's very strange to. Well, it's not strange because he's a decent actor when he wants to be, but when Bruce Willis is actually good in a good movie, it's a rare exception. So, like, you have the few.
Right now he just does whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, and then
I don't blame him. He's Bruce Willis. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
But here's the thing: he's also kind of a dick.
Sure. Well, he's a grumpy old man, right?
Yeah.
Same with
Harrison
Ford. They're grumpy old men.
I'm Harrison Ford.
And
Get off my plane.
They were in franchises that are like continuously lauded, and like they're just kind of over it.
They're done with the fame of that one particular franchise.
Yeah.
They just want to continue to do their craft, which is fine. But then don't demand $4 million for 4 days worth of work. Looking at you, Bruce Willis, and what was the movie that was for? Oh, it was Expendables. That's why he was only in the first one?
Probably saw that script and was like, oof, I want at least a big payday.
Well, some people finished that movie.
I'm so sorry for that.
You should be. It's an amazing trilogy. Are you excited for Rambo Last Blood? Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a kind of a watch all of them and then watch that one. Yeah. Just pump the testosterone into my veins. Red Bull!
That's a lot of testosterone.
Yeah.
Is Red Bull testosterone now?
I mean, sure. I assume.
It's also fucking disgusting.
It gives you wings, and it tastes like piss. But yeah. Monster, whatever, energy drink, insert.
A rock star.
Rock
Four
star.
Locos.
There you go.
Cocaine.
They don't even make that anymore. Redline.
Fuel.
Alcohol. Just beer. Looper.
So back to the premise.
Yes.
Bruce Willis is Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the future. He gets set back to close the loop.
Yes.
And then he's like, you know what? Not really feeling that.
Yeah.
And it goes on the run. Now, normally when this happens, and you see this early in the movie, they kind of use the present looper to fuck up the future.
The future one by cutting off his arm. And stuff. So
yeah.
they chase after both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
They use the younger version to facilitate the capture of the older one. Well, Joseph Gordon-Levitt knows this, and he's like, well, I don't want to know that either.
Yeah.
So now he's running away from his employers, but also trying to track down Bruce Willis so he can kill them and go back to his normal way of life.
And Bruce Willis has his own timeline because his future wife dies from someone who in Joseph Gordon-Levitt's timeline. There's psychic powers. There's other stuff.
It's like 10% of the population has telekinesis.
Yeah.
And that is a passed off as kind of a somewhat unimportant detail, but it later comes back around.
It's a really well done sci-fi film.
It is, and it is probably one of my favorite examples of a time travel movie that it tells you don't think about it.
Don't think about the time travel.
The two characters are literally in a diner
at
one point, and one of them goes, "Don't think about it."
Yeah.
Because
how does this even work?
We're gonna be here all day, fucking doing diagrams with straws and shit, and like nothing's gonna get. Don't fucking worry about it. And it almost like it knows there's gonna be inconsistencies and like paradoxes.
Yeah.
But then it steers into them. Whereas I feel like most time travel movies,
they try to like move
they're
the
like,
plot.
oh, it's like Back to the Future. You know, like the whole point of those movies is like, don't create a time paradox because that's like super bad, don't do it. And then Looper is like,
don't do it, Marty,
do all the paradoxes right now, or do it back then, time travel back then, do a paradox, do it.
Don't tell me you watched Back to the Future as your other movie.
I didn't, no.
Okay,
because
that's set in the past.
I've already talked very much about Back to the Future 2
is set in the past.
No,
is it October 2019?
No, that's
when they're in the future, Jaws 35 or whatever. They get the almanac. I could have sworn like it was 2015. Yeah, because it was 1985 is the first movie.
Well,
and then 1955, and then 2015.
I misunderstood what you were asking. I thought you're saying like because of the present date now, like Back to the Future 2 is now a past movie. Because even in the future. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was going out, well, they travel to the future. Right. All right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yes. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't bend any rules.
No.
Okay.
No, I definitely went with my second future one, which I'll talk about a little after Looper. That is definitely in the future. But Looper I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I love it when original sci-fi is accessible to pretty much anybody, especially when you cast decent actors in it and they pull it off. Jeff Daniels is great in this.
Yes, yeah. And it's a pretty bit part too.
Yeah.
He's only in maybe like 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis honestly really isn't in it a whole lot either.
He's more he's more of the driving force
of the narrative. Yeah. Emily Blunt is in this as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Which I did not know going into it. So when she showed up, I was like,
so is this your first time watching it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have recommended this to you a long time ago.
Well, it's been on my list
ever
since it came out. I was like, I really need to watch this because all I hear is great things. And
Knives Out is coming out. Which is another original property. After he did Looper, he did... let me look that up. You said the thing. He did Last Jedi, but I know that he did another movie. He did Brick with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which is kind of a...
It's like a murder mystery.
Murder mystery with teens.
Yeah.
What am I looking... Star Loopers? IMDb. Really not? Yeah, he went from Looper to directing 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. I think he directed Ozymandias, which is like the really popular.
Later seasons.
And then he went 5 years later to do Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and now he's doing Knives Out, which is another murder mystery. Everyone. Chris Evans. You've got Ana de Armas, who was in Blade Runner 2049. Catherine Langford, Jaden Martell, who was in It Chapter 1, Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, Frank Oz, weird, Michael Shannon, Christopher Plummer, Lakeith Stanford, Ricky Lindholm, Don Johnson, M. Emmett Walsh, who's still alive. He's been like that same age for like 30 years. I'm really excited about that one because it's got that very Clue-ish type of vibe to it, but also very 10 Little Indians. Is that still appropriate to say?
I believe the current name that it's now known by is And Then There Were None.
And Then There Were None?
Yeah.
Okay.
By Agatha Christie?
Yes.
You're talking about? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or what's the other one? Orient Express.
Yeah,
Murder on
yeah.
the,
Murder
same
on
thing.
the Orient
Same thing.
Express, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. Looper, again, going back to that. Don't want to go into too many details because there's lots of twists and turns. Although I think I was the one who spoiled them. About the kind of, no, not for you because you saw the movie, but the subplot, like why Bruce Willis is doing everything.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that's the spoiler.
But there's a lot of great visual effects.
Yeah.
The cinematography's great. The acting's great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's like a low. I don't even want to say low budget sci-fi because there's stuff in here that is very not low budget, but it's not like balls to the wall sci-fi, kind of like my other one that I watched was. But yeah, great pacing, great acting on all fronts, and it's a really straightforward movie. With there is a twist, so to speak, in it, but
It's like original sci-fi.
yeah,
Or
like
something,
different, you know. So yeah, definitely give it a shot.
The budget was $30 million, and it made $66 million. So it at least made its budget back.
Is that domestic or
That
total?
was-
I thought total was like 120.
That is domestic. Hold on. Domestic and foreign was 110, so it made 176 million.
Okay, yeah.
So that's yeah.
'Cause I remember looking it up after I watched it, and I was thinking like, wow, that did really well.
Yeah. And that's what you get whenever you make low budget sci-fi.
Yeah, yeah.
And nothing but profit usually. What was the other movie?
So the other one was I watched the live action Ghost in the Shell.
Why'd you do that? Actually, I'm
'Cause-
okay. Here's that. It's sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
But when I came out of that movie theater, having seen Ghost in the Shell, and I had seen the original anime series, read the manga, watched the original movie that this is very much taking from. Not a bad adaptation. It's not bad as a movie.
Right. Yeah. As a movie, it's fine. It's kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different Ghost in the
Storylines.
Shell storylines. They have, like, the main baddie is kind of like this mixture of the Laughing Man and Puppet Master and someone I can't remember his name, but the name they get in the movie is directly from Second Gig, which I never watched. I only watched the movie as Standalone Complex.
I never watched the second gig either.
So it is ostensibly an original storyline, but pulling from like all of the source material.
Yeah, Alita Battle Angel did the same thing.
I honestly, it was between Alita and Ghost in the Shell, and Alita is over 2 hours, and Ghost in the Shell is like an hour and 30 minutes. So.
Yeah, well, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I would say out of the two, Alita is a lot more fun to watch, even if there's less action than Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell is very kind of bland when it comes to the visuals. When you watch the anime film that it's based off of, mostly, you definitely get a scale of the world and the colors, and just watch the movie, the animated film, and you'll see what I mean, because the music that they use, the cinematography when it comes to palette building and background when the characters are interacting, it's just visually more stunning to look at.
It's great stuff.
This one's kind of just bland Marvel movie-esque.
Well, and I think
tan.
like visually, that's where like the movie's one of its best the live action movie from 2017.
Yeah.
One of its strong points is actually the visuals. As far like from what I got from it, it's like very different than what you would normally get out of a Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah.
In terms of like, there's these kind of weird spider robots and
The geisha
like everything's
scene.
very neon. Like aside from Blade Runner 2049, which I'm pretty sure came out like a month after.
Yeah.
Ghost in
It was
the Shell.
it was bad timing. I feel like Ghost in the Shell, the live action film, definitely took from Blade Runner's box office. Although I'm sure the same people saw both.
Kind of like along those lines. Other than Blade Runner, you know, like we don't get a whole lot of neon futurescapes anymore in cinema, it feels like.
Yeah.
So that's nice to see, even if it's a lot of it is white noise.
Cyberpunk aesthetic.
Right. Choreography is pretty good for the most part, although like the CG really hampers it, I find.
In what way? Like the CG?
Like when Major is like kind of running around and doing her thing.
Yeah.
It kind of adopts like this slow-mo but fast, like slow-mo sped up type thing.
They tried to do the same thing as Dread. 2012.
And it doesn't work
Yeah.
nearly as well. Dread is like perfect, like nearly perfect in all visual aspects.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell, it's like too dark at some places, I feel like, too.
The same problem. I was going to reference the director's earlier work. Rupert Sanders directed this, who also directed Snow White and the Huntsman. It was a very, very similar when it comes to the visuals of that film. That's very CGI based, both of them. One's a sci-fi film, one's a fantasy film, but they're both dark.
Right. Yeah.
Even when they try to be bright kind of settings. So, I mean, it's very odd. It's a very odd choice not to try to liven up the camera in the scene.
Narratively, it is like nothing. There's nothing going on. Ghost in the Shell is like one of those. And to be fair, like this is something that's a little hard to do in a like feature-length film runtime.
Yeah.
But it's present in the original anime movie. So I feel like I can't really cut it too much slack, where there's like very little philosophical undertones for this. It's like, what makes a person if they're all machine type of thing. You know, like that is like base level cyberpunk philosophy, which is like if you're doing cyberpunk, like that's always there anyway. So like if that's your only like quote unquote deep part of your narrative,
yeah,
you really don't actually have anything. And really it's just like a by the books action thriller type thing.
I was gonna say there's definitely some love and influence from the original anime. There are people who worked on this film that are huge fans of Ghost in the Shell.
There's scenes lifted directly from the original anime movie.
Directly from the original. But I can definitely feel that all of the love of the original source material is coming from everyone but the director. Like the director is very much, I want to say, puppeteered by the producers in the studio to make a big budget anime film, and they want to make it successful.
Right. You can only make a cult thing so cult if you want to make a Hollywood profit.
Right.
You know?
And there's obviously also the controversy of casting Scarlett Johansson, and I don't want to go too much into that. But the way that they kind of explain her character, it takes away from what you were saying earlier about the philosophy of, you know, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be alive? That kind of thing.
They kind of lay down like this, like, oh, this is why she's cast this way. But then it's like, oh, but maybe not.
Yeah, there's a whole scene dedicated to that. And it's very out of place because it's not really, it doesn't need to be explained in the original anime film. But it's you know, a good popcorn flick for somebody who doesn't know anything about the anime film.
Yeah,
right?
It's a decent enough action romp. It's not gonna
blow your mind
or anything, but you know, I could feasibly see this being something that someone pops into their Blu-ray player occasionally.
I'm gonna say, like, would a 4K TV make this look a lot better?
Yeah, well, yeah, like visually, I think it's at least interesting enough to differentiate it between itself and what normally comes out of Hollywood, especially in sci-fi.
I was gonna recommend that over Ghost in the Shell, but thinking back on it, realizing that the ending is very much left open to a sequel. Yeah, but it's never gonna happen because it didn't make its money back. Are you gonna look it up? I feel like they.
Against Solo, was it not? And then it pulled in way more.
I remember it made just enough to make its money back. Unless I'm totally off and I was jumping the gun.
Yeah.
That was all right.
Oh wait, no, hold on. Okay.
You're looking at the total.
I was looking at gross USA against budget.
See, I did the same
was
thing.
like, oh fuck.
See,
So budget was estimated at 170 million,
which is a lot.
it is a lot of money,
but it is a visually.
and it had James
CG.
Cameron behind it. So
He has the money.
yeah, gross USA was 85.7, give or take. So that's why I was like, oh
Ouch.
shit.
Yeah.
But cumulative
Cumulatively.
was 404.8 million.
So.
Yeah, it did good.
Yeah. But the studio was probably like, that's risky. We barely got this. They would probably say that wasn't enough.
Yeah, well, there's no telling what goes on in those boardroom meetings, right? You know?
Well, I mean,
if it's not like because that number is, I think, feasible enough to where you could possibly see a sequel down the line, but I don't think we'd be getting it, you know,
anytime soon
in 4 years or anything like that.
No, not if James Cameron has anything to do with it.
Well, he's busy with Avatar for the next 2 decades.
I don't want to talk about Avatar. I mean, whatever. If you can somehow live off of making one movie every 14 years or so, you know.
Well, he was doing that before Avatar.
I know, yeah. He went from like True Lies to Avatar, and then it was Terminator to True Lies, and there was like a 12, 14-hour break in between each one.
True Lies to Avatar?
It was 1997 to 2009.
Titanic was
Oh.
before that.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Titanic was 1997. I'm sorry. True Lies was, I guess that was a small gap. True Lies to Titanic. But even then, he's like taking longer and longer because he's trying to develop like new technology to film stuff.
Well, he also had, what was it, The Deep or The Coat? What was it? The weird.
The one where he just dove into the.
It was the documentary type thing that he did.
I don't care. As long as the ocean's still a little blue.
That man is living his best life.
He's doing whatever. He's basically the calm and collected Michael Bay.
Yeah.
You know, minus all those
If
explosions.
only we had a calm and collected Michael Bay. Or a subtle Michael Bay, even.
So I guess since we talked about the two movies, did you notice like a trend between the two movies, though? Both set in the future. Do you notice anything similar about the future in both of those films?
Well, Looper is very briefly shown to have kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's a bad example.
Yeah, they're really not comparable in almost any way. Looper does show that it's current future, if that makes any sense. Not the future 30 years from the future that they're in there.
But they're Joseph Gordon-Levitt future.
They have like these kind of like beaten down bikes that they use, and
but they're hover bikes.
It's kind of like grungy, but
Yeah.
it's still like they still have farms, you know. So
It's-
it's like this in between period. It feels like, whereas like Ghost in the Shell is in 2037 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like way in the future. Well, not way in the future, but a good.
Come
bit.
on, my dude. It's 2019.
Yeah.
It's a
And that's like.
I'm gonna skip away.
That's like so not like that's neon
Yeah.
cyberpunk like
Jacking in.
people are half machine at this point. Oh, that was another thing I was gonna say. Bato in Ghost in the Shell is your
Yeah,
own
the
Greyjoy.
the Kiefer Sutherland ripoff guy.
Yeah. He's
Oh
like-
no, he's
he's your own Greyjoy.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh hey, look at you.
I think his name is like Pilo Osbeck or something.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think that's
Very
right.
Scandinavian.
He was good, but like if you were gonna ask me what I thought Bato would look like in a live action, that's not what I would.
He was
think of.
very short. He wasn't as big and tall as I remember Bato being.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because I used
Also,
Major as a reference.
Scarlett Johansson, I felt was very wooden throughout.
It's Scarlett Johansson. She's not great.
She does fine in Avengers. I feel
She's one of the highest paid actresses in the entire
like
world.
she is the highest paid actress.
No, it's still like Jennifer Aniston or something.
Pretty sure she was the highest that they just released. And
Like residuals and stuff. Are we going
no,
off of
just
that?
off of like standard pay. Because I think technically, if you were gonna go off of like whatever they pull in, Robert Downey Jr. still makes way more. because he did that.
He gets like a percentage of the earnings.
Off the cut.
Okay, yeah. For the second year in a row, this is off of Google. I just typed in highest paid actress 2019. For the second year in a row, Scarlett Johansson is Hollywood's highest paid actress. Although Ghost in the Shell is 2017, so this is before. But having earned $56 million between June 1st, 2018 and June 1st, 2019. According to Forbes' list of the 10 highest paid actresses of 2019, most of Johansson's earnings come from her role as Black Widow. So maybe she gets a percentage as well. I don't know. Forbes, this is 2018. Forbes listed the world's best paid actresses 2018. Jennifer Aniston, $19.5 million. Jennifer Lawrence, Reese Witherspoon, Mila Kunis, Julia Roberts, who doesn't do anything. Kate Blanchett, Melissa McCarthy, Gal Gadot. I don't know. So she's not even on that list. That's just very confusing. Anyway, what I was going to say with my question there is, this is why I couldn't find a movie to watch, was because I ended up making a goal for myself. I wanted to find a movie set in the future, like past 2019, that wasn't post-apocalyptic, wasn't, totally negative. Like, granted, it didn't have to be sci-fi. It didn't have to be, fantasy or anything like that. It just had to be set in a happy future. But, like, Hollywood or just most of cinema, like, they just couldn't find a reason to make a happy future. So that's my question. This is what I wanted to propose to you.
Alexa wants to be part of the conversation.
Shut up! All right, then. We just need to unplug her for the podcast.
That is the true Ghost in the Shell.
No,
there's
when you find me
there's
on
your
the
philosophical
couch,
underpinning there.
And like Alexa's plugged into the back of my neck, then it'll be Ghost in the Shell. They'll be like, "Hello, Zach. I am now a smart home device. I'm also British now."
That's kind of weird.
It's just very weird. That's only 2 settings. All right. How are we going to do this podcast? I do not know.
You may ask me things, and I may answer.
It's possibly 71 degrees outside, but I have no frame of reference because I am a robot.
Looking things up would be much
quicker. Oh, yeah. Wait, what are you suggesting?
That you're a weak, feeble human who has to type in
everything.
Their shit to Google.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm sorry. On my weak human hands.
How dare you?
Yeah. But I was going to say I couldn't think of a happy future. So what I wanted to propose to you was what movie future out of all the post-apocalyptic negative movie futures would you want to live in? Like, what's the best, like... Obviously, The Matrix is a bad example because you'd be plugged in and your battery and your goopy.
That would be a rough one.
Sure.
And it's like, you could, like, if I wanted a future like the Hunger Games, but I only wanted to take District 1, right?
Or like not even choosy.
Not even like the what are you talking about? That's exactly what you just asked me. You pick and choose which parts you want.
But you can't be picky and choosy on where you live. I mean, like.
So for those who don't know, for whatever reason, Hunger Games is like a future world where the entirety of society is divided up into 12 districts.
Right.
Or 13? That might be a later thing. I think it's 12.
It's been a while.
And each district has like a specific thing that they focus on. So district whatever does lumber, district other does corn.
That's a whole corn district.
There's a fishing one, yada, yada, yada. And then they have district 1, 2, and it's either 1, 2, or 1, 2, and 3, and those are like the upper echelon.
Yeah, the fancy
society.
ones.
They're like super fancy.
So you would just want to live in the fancy.
Well, if I could have like a middle district, like a 4, like
class.
A district 4 or something, and then like just kind of like that's life right there.
That's the whole point of the Hunger Games is that there's a very upper class, and then there's just everyone who's poor and can barely
it
survive.
should just be a middle class.
So you want to go with Hunger Games?
I am no, not entire Hunger Games. I don't want a tournament for children in which they kill each other.
No, I think you want all the children to kill each other.
Because like I don't want to pick Blade Runner or fucking Akira or that kind of shit where there's fucking motorcycle gangs going through
graffiti
the street.
on everything, people shooting
or
and
fucking
pooping in their hands and throwing it at children.
Divergent, where
I totally forgot Divergent was a thing.
That's like we separate you into castes.
Because based on your abilities and stuff.
You're like, oh, you're the intelligent people.
you're the nerds. You're the jocks.
It's like nerds, jocks,
climbers,
healers, and farmers,
and lizard people.
Yeah. And then there's that Divergent who don't fit in anywhere.
They're the freaks.
You can't define me, man.
The person who wrote the Divergent series walked into a high school cafeteria and is like, I can make a post-apocalyptic series based on this. Lame.
And then even Back to the Future 2 isn't that bad in the future.
I mean, it's the past. So
conceptually, though, it is the future. If we just took that and transposed it to the year 2050,
I mean, I guess, but then not much of technology has changed.
No,
in 50 years.
But I'd rather that over fucking baby Jesus blob that consumes all,
Akira.
And then we got to kill it with a nuke.
Well, what about? Let me think. Bicentennial Man.
With Robin Williams.
Yeah. The only sad part of that movie... Actually, hold on. I think I found the happy future. The only sad part of that movie is Robin Williams. Yeah. Everyone else is, totally fine.
He's a dad, right? And then they what is
No. He started off as a robot.
I've seen that movie once.
He starts off as a robot, very much like beep, boop, blorp, I am a robot, let me help you, put a little boogie in it.
Sure.
Humor. I'm Robin Williams. You're just ones and zeros. That's great for the audio listeners. Thank you. But he starts off as a robot. It's very much a luxury that people are buying these robots. It's like the first wave.
Yeah, it's like I want a real doll.
Yeah, but it actually helps.
Just agreed to Robin Williams as a real doll.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's
just part
dead
of
now.
normal conversation. And you're like, yeah. Oh wait,
Of all the people that we had to call a real doll, he starts off as a robot, and then he slowly becomes more and more human. He replaces internal parts at one point with organs and stuff, and then he gets skin and everything. It's just it reminds me a lot of the end part of Click, where it just gets sadder and sadder the more
That is a very sad you're dying in the street.
Dying in the street, yeah. Way to go, Adam Sandler. You made me cry in a comedy film.
Yeah.
But
you bastard.
Yeah. That was probably the last Adam Sandler movie I actually thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. Murder Mystery wasn't terrible.
I didn't see that one.
It's so there's Ridiculous Six, which is wow, this is just super racist. Not to mention the behind the scenes controversy, but he's just made a lot of shit films recently. It's just he's kind of given up on making decent. He stopped acting. He's kind of just doing it for the paycheck.
I heard that stand-up bit he did a year ago.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
I think that was supposed to be pretty good, actually.
I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I think Bicentennial Man, outside of because we're following the main character being this robot, this Bicentennial Man, by the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the only sad part. But everyone else is living a really happy life as far as we can tell. Everyone has, hover chairs and stuff and holograms to display their architecture projects and all that kind of stuff. The only person that makes it sad is the robot who wants to become human, which, okay, cool. But you could have lived a lot longer. Because doesn't he meets a lady robot halfway through.
You're asking me stuff about
No. I need you to remember a film you watched once 20 years ago.
When you started explaining Bicentennial Man to me, I was conflating it in my head with Jack Frost.
I mean, it's not dissimilar.
I'm thinking Kiefer Sutherland coming back as a snowman.
No, that's not Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's Michael Keaton.
Fuck, it is Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, yeah. Don't talk to me about films where a human is replaced by a humanoid type creature.
I know my anthropomorphic holiday creatures more than anyone. Don't you dare lecture me.
And then there's the horror Jack Frost one,
Yeah.
like the Killer
Kiefer
Snowman.
Sutherland's in that one.
He might be. That's one I avoided. Did you see the trailer for Black Christmas, the new one?
I did see it, yeah. The entire movie is in that trailer.
The entire movie is in that trailer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Cary Elwes, he's the bad guy.
And then they're like, yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
What did you expect?
All the men in the film are bad guys. So,
Well,
you know.
Well.
Womp womp. I guess we can't really say anything
Life
about
imitates art. I don't know what to
Ooh, that's a paper thin argument. And that's just probably something we could talk about later is when trailers absolutely spoil a whole movie. Because you did mention it at the end of a podcast a couple of weeks ago where the trailer for Underwater
literally says fucking, I'm
going
underwater.
That's the end of the trailer.
Really?
Underwater.
That trailer is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it has TJ Miller in it, which is a
bad idea.
Yeah.
It's Alien and Sphere
Yeah,
put together.
Yeah. Alien Underwater. Yeah, sure. I never saw it.
You never saw Sphere?
Mm.
It's Alien Underwater.
Is that like the companion piece to Cube?
Actually, not dissimilar. I would say it's more like Event Horizon Underwater.
Ah, all right.
There's some Event Horizon.
So
That's a great feature.
It has fuck. What's his name?
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill, thank you.
Who's in Bicentennial Man?
It has
We're
a
back around.
blind Sam Neill.
What?
Yeah, that's him, right? When he's got like his eyes clawed out.
Yeah, and yeah.
Blind Sam Neill.
Yeah.
You're saying Sphere has blind Sam Neill in it.
No. Sorry, my brain turned off for a second. No. I thought you were talking about Bicentennial Man.
You're still
for a
thinking
second.
about Jack Frost and
I don't know
Kiefer
where
Sutherland.
my brain is. I'm trying to think of a better future than Bicentennial Man.
What about?
Ooh.
Oh.
I was going to say Minority Report. That's not necessarily true. Well, it's as long as the police are doing their job.
Yeah.
As long as the precog police are doing their job, it's not bad. I mean, the crimes still kind of happen in one timeline, but then they totally fuck with that, right?
If you don't like to read, Fahrenheit 451 is a great future.
I mean, as long as you don't read books, sure.
Yeah. Not just read in general.
Or listen to music or anything like that.
No, well, yeah, music is
you can't. It's all the entertainment.
But it's
stuff.
the TV is all. You still have TV. It's just like they make it.
It's only
for
Fox
you.
News and CNN and stuff like that. It's propaganda shit.
Yeah.
It's not a good future. That's like saying 1984 is a great
if you're
future.
brain dead, it's a good future.
Oh God, then that's a great future for me.
Oh.
No, what I wasn't going to say Minority Report. I was going to say iRobot. The same thing as Bicentennial Man.
I guess so. As long as you're not anywhere near the problem of that movie.
If you're not living in the city, and you're living like Will Smith's mother or grandmother, I can't remember. Living in a house, just kind of casual, normal house, which is still kind of set in the 2000s, but like you got all the robotic features. Very modernist home now, but
right. I was gonna say with Looper, it's so like in the middle of
it's
like
pre-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it's like this is the future before it all goes to shit. Even though it's still kind of meh.
Yeah.
But you still have farms and like there's still
farms.
Well, there's like signs of civilization here.
Yeah.
It's not just all like neon and crime and a cybernetic enhancement type thing. Yeah. And we don't have to stuff our children into death tournaments.
What's so
wrong? Fuck, I forgot.
Okay.
Takeshi Kitano is in Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
From Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the instructor general.
Yeah.
From Battle Royale. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
He's actually very famous for being the pre Liam Neeson Taken phase.
Yeah,
he was the old action star before old action stars were a thing.
He did some comedy bits too back in the day.
But I mean, he's more known for his Yakuza-led crime films in Japan.
He was actually in a Yakuza game for the ones published by Sega.
Wasn't he one of the ones that was behind the controversy stuff?
No.
It wasn't?
Mm-mm.
And he's still alive?
Yep. Still kicking. He is old.
I think he was in Kill Bill as well. Oh, he's a comedian. He's just a straight-up comedian. He doesn't have a very comedic face.
That's because you're just thinking of Battle Royale, where he's a murderous.
Well, no, because he's
principal.
usually like a hitman or an assassin in every single movie he's in. Because like I'm looking at Zatoichi, where he's the blind swordsman, Outrage, Brother, Sonatine. Just look at his filmography. Battle Royale, Outrage Coda. Like he has a whole series. Beyond Outrage. Boiling Point.
I am so beyond outraged now.
He was in Johnny Mnemonic with
Mnemonic
with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
who is in a lot of futuristic stuff.
He also has some hacker background. You know,
Time to hack. It's pretty close to.
Is that part of your Mortal Kombat spinoff?
Time we fight. I don't know. I'm not. If I ever did voice acting, it would probably be the guy who does the like ready fight.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like it.
The very deep voice. Thank you. What's so wrong with the Blade Runner feature? Like ground level.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. It's just.
I mean, it rains a lot, but I like rainy weather.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that'd be fine.
The noodles and stuff. You get enhancements and stuff. It's not as futuristic as Ghost in the Shell, right? But like you can replace body parts and stuff, and they don't go too much into detail. They did kind of in one of the shorts. Precursor into 2049. I think the 2049 future is actually far worse than the 2019 one. But again, it's about to be outdated.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like
I
don't want to be in the future.
Did you ever watch the movie Mr. Nobody?
No.
With Jared Leto?
No.
It's like set in the far, far future, but it's basically about Jared Leto growing up as a kid, and it starts off with him as an old man with Jared Leto in old man makeup, and he's the last living human to not turn himself immortal, because like they've cured all diseases and everything, and they're kind of doing a documentary on him because he's about to die.
Yeah,
and it goes back to him as a childhood, and he's trying to remember his life. But then there's like 3 different timelines because he meets 3 different girls and like his parents divorce, and it tries to go into all these different things. And there's like this movie like released 3 times because it's one of those films that like it had trouble getting money, and then they released only digitally and then in theaters and then like all those kind of things. Anyway, it's not a bad film. It's just what I was going to say is the future, everybody's immortal. How would you feel if everybody on Earth was immortal?
Scared to die, so that would be okay with me.
Okay, cool. Granted, in their future, everybody's got like face tattoos, and they kind of look like not the Borg from Star Trek, but the one from the 2009 one with Eric Bana. You don't like the new Star Treks, but you like the old Star Treks.
I have no feeling on the old Star Trek. I just found I thought the new Star Treks are boring.
Really?
Yeah. I got no.
I think you're boring.
You're boring.
That's it. This podcast is over.
I'm trying to look it up. Do you remember if Ex Machina was in the future, or if it was like a?
It was set in a future. They didn't. I don't think they give an exact year because they wanted to make it ambiguous. We don't really have a feel of the world outside until the very end, and it's like a very short sequence.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say maybe Westworld, as shitty a second season as it makes. But
I mean, we'll have to wait and see for the 3rd season, which I'm not going to watch. I stopped watching. But I'll leave that up to you.
Outside World.
Whenever
that looks normal.
Granted, like we're taking all of these futures with a grain of salt because, all of these... without the conflict that pushed the narrative forward.
Like
if everything didn't go wrong, then those features would be great.
Like Akira would just be like, okay, that part of Tokyo is kind of fucked up. Don't live there.
Don't live in the shitty part of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Just live in the countryside. But then it's just the countryside.
Right.
I think the rest of the world in the Akira universe is pretty normal anyway, as far as we could tell.
Yeah, I mean, but even at the same time, like, I always go back to that scene where they're eating at the restaurant, and then a fucking motorcycle flies through the window.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh yeah, that's Sunday.
That's just what happens. And then you have cults just walking through the street.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happening in the real world right now. But granted, I don't have a follow-up to that.
Akira is depressing as fuck.
I mean, yeah.
Did
and
you
I
hear
think this...
that they maybe doing a not a remake, but they're doing an adaptation that's more like appropriate to the manga?
Are you talking about like the one that they've been trying to work on for years and years and years?
Has that been in the works for a long time?
Akira?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the series, like a TV series?
I feel like it would do better as a TV series.
Yeah.
Than
that's what I had heard. I guess it's been going on for
the series itself is like each book is like 600 pages.
Right.
They're super thick, like myself. 2 C's. But
no K.
No K. All right, try to get rid of that K. It's just NIC. That's my name. NICC. Nick. Super Nick. Oh, that's what my online profile should have been.
Yeah, it should.
Nick the Thick. I'm kind of done. I just, I'm ready to just.
So you're gonna go with Bicentennial Man?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we get like glimpses of it because again, we're focusing on the main character and how sad and depressing his life is. But he makes those choices to become human. I personally would have stayed as a robot, except add a penis, of course.
Of course, when he wants to be a real doll.
Yeah, but you can still be a robot with a penis. They have those.
Yeah.
Like today.
You're speaking from experience.
I mean, from what I've read. From what I've been told. From what I've seen.
You're going backwards.
From what I've experienced. Ow. What would you go with?
Yeah.
You can't say Back to the Future.
No.
That's cheating.
Yeah, I think I don't remember seeing anything like particularly bad in the real world for Looper, except for like the mob killing people.
Yeah, I guess just don't get involved with the mob.
Don't become a Looper. You know, like.
But you do get paid a decent amount. Except the only way you can get out is by closing.
You have
the loop.
to die. Yeah. No, fuck that shit.
Oh damn it!
Well, and
you
it's
couldn't
like,
find a loophole.
It's even a line in the beginning of the movie is like, people who become loopers aren't the most forward thinking.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, which is very it's foreshadowing for sure. Well, thanks for giving me a non-answer.
I tried. I think what my answer is generally leaning towards is I am where you were at the beginning of this discussion, where you can't think of a good future. And no matter how many parts you take from places, it's like
you can have the flying cars of Back to the Future, but with like the stable economy of Bicentennial Man.
Tron looked fine.
Yeah. That's not even a future. That's inside of a program. That could be a computer in 1982.
Like Tron Legacy is in the future, I think.
Yeah, they didn't specify the real world time period, but like if we could just live in the Tron world, how about that? We just live in the Tron world.
Jeff Bridges did all right. It seemed like.
Yeah, technically he was human.
Yeah,
and he lived.
Okay, here's what bothers me about that movie. In our Lost episode, I talked about before how I really love Tron Legacy. I think it's a great movie. However, every time the scene comes up where they're at Jeff Bridges' house and they're at the table, what the fuck does he eat?
I don't know.
Where does he get food?
He digitizes nutrients and injects them.
There's no farm. He has
a living wild. I don't know. He shouldn't be able to survive inside a computer, period. But guess what? It's a science fiction film, and it's not real, Zach.
But
it's not real.
You can feasibly say, like, I don't even know how you come up with oxygen, right? Like, I'm getting so excited. I'm knocking a mic over.
Whacking your microphone there.
But where does the food come from?
There's
not even any water.
Where does he pee? It's the same thing. It's all of these things.
Well, he can pee wherever.
Oh, okay. That's just solved. Like, he does because he can pee.
If fucking Hogwarts students can go in to the bathroom in the hallways and then just vanish it
Honestly, I don't know why the students don't just fuck in the room of requirement.
Well, they don't know about it.
The students that do know about it. The Dumbledore Army.
Well, maybe they do. There's a lot of shit in there.
There is the scene where he makes out with Cho Chang.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit in there. There's probably plenty of...
There's orgies in that room every fucking day for those students. The ones that know about sex and are learning about it, experimenting, that kind of stuff.
They go to the room of requirement?
Yeah. They require all the sex toys in the world.
Jesus. That's the part of Hogsmeade that you don't know about.
Yeah, we'll talk about fantasy films in a future episode.
Films.
Not that kind of fantasy. But this has been Nicknames Movies, where the cinema love never stops. Please stay tuned for a preview of our new podcast. Be excited. Wear tight shirts. Get those. Oh, you didn't even know where I was going. You're like, yeah, okay. Wear tight shirts.
Be confident
just
in your body.
Yeah, I don't.
Do it.
All right.
You have a lot to show.
I'll do it. Oh, I do have a lot to show. Remember, I'm Nick with 2 C's. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, when we're under a different name.
A different name.
Hey, thanks everybody for sticking around for 20 episodes.
Thank you for those that just are giving up after this. Please don't. But yeah.
Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, the podcast from the previous owners of Nicknames Movies. I'm Nick.
I'm Zach.
And we are here to talk about movie news and what's exciting about what's going on in movies right now and what's coming out on streaming and I guess DVD.
Yeah,
people still buy those.
What we're looking forward to, that kind of thing, and just keeping you guys more up to date on what's happening in movies.
Yeah, who really needs e-news and who needs
Not I.
YouTube?
Well, I just don't need YouTube.
Well, I mean, for movie news and trailers and stuff. I guess you can to watch it because
we can reenact trailers for you.
Perfect. Let's do that. Once we become a video podcast. Once we can afford
video equipment.
Yeah, a Canon disposable camera, and
I think those do video.
We just multiple pictures. We'll do multiple pictures.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, like stop motion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look
out, Kubo.
Great pull. Any other stop motion like Nightmare Before Christmas, which is not Leica.
I'll just do all Leica.
Goddamn. Anyway, we are doing a new type of podcast where we're kind of being more focused on what's going on currently week to week, whereas previously we were kind of covering topics that we were interested in. Yeah, based around stuff that was going on, but this is more focused on what's going on, in the industry, and in that way, you're up to date, and we can still talk about stuff that excites us, and get off track, of course.
There are no rails here. It's just a dirt path, and it leads 5 different directions. So we're gonna crisscross all those.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll still talk about what we've been watching, and I'm sure occasionally we'll probably have a topic that we talk about. Yes. Halloween's coming up.
Yes.
I already have a couple on my list that we may or may do.
Uh-oh. I don't like it when we smile. This is very creepy. I can't even see your mouth.
It's covered with the beard.
So, I mean, it's kind of a reformatting. We're doing a lot of experimenting. Stay tuned and keep along with us as we try to form this new format, I guess. And if you liked Nicknames Movies, there's still a lot of that in this new podcast. It's just a little bit more tweaking.
Ostensibly going to be the same. We're just going to actually give you news and keep you up to date.
We're actually going to give a shit.
Yeah.
So, thanks for sticking with us, and please actually tell us about, we have an email now.
Yes, we are going to have an email where you fine listeners / viewers, depending on where you are,
yes,
can contact us to ask us your pressing movie questions and see how we feel about state of affairs.
What email is that?
That is going to be Lights, Camera, Nonsense.
Almost forgot the goddamn name.
It's new, all right?
Yeah.
lightscameranonsense@gmail.com.
Okay. And we're also changing our Patreon name to patreon.com/lightscameranonsense. if you'd like to become a patron there and support us there. The series is going to change the name, obviously, to Lights Camera Nonsense. You'll see a lot of different logos and stuff, but again,
Got some new merch.
Yeah, new designs. And if you'd like to submit merch designs, you can submit them to the email that we have previously mentioned, lightscameranonsense@gmail.com, and we will absolutely come to an agreement on what we want to do with those designs and keep in contact with you. So yeah, we got new merch, email to submit questions and feedback, and our new format, which is basically more news oriented, but we're still gonna get distracted. We're still gonna talk about stuff like what they do in the room of requirement, like from this week's episode,
or the hallways,
or the holidays. We'll also do that stuff, and
I
we'll
said
do more.
hallways, but not holidays.
They do it during the holidays in the room of requirement and in the hallways.
Statistically, there are less students in Hogwarts for the holidays, so that would be a good time to do it.
Don't patronize me with your Harry Potter knowledge.
Oh, I'll do it.
But thanks for thanks for I can't even.
Sorry, you're overcome with emotion and thankfulness. I think what Nick is trying to say is thank you for continuing to listen. It's been a great 20 episodes. Nick, thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome.
I appreciate being here.
Yeah.
And I look forward to being here on the new show.
Yeah. We're really excited, and
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next week with the new podcast, Lights Camera Nonsense.
Get excited.
Or else.
Please.
Yes.